Recently, an incident occurred on the Beijing subway that has sparked public outrage. An elderly man forcefully demanded that a girl give up her seat. When she refused, he used his cane to prod her legs and even covered her mouth. What exactly happened? What followed after this incident? Let's take a closer look.
你看，我说你可以让不让我坐，怎么了？
我知道
没毛病吧？
毛病是没毛病，但是
你的年轻人不能老年人坐，我不是参见，我不是参见你可以不可以让老年人坐？你家有没有房子？你家有没有房子？
别人可以，别人可以让你不让。
为什么呀？
因为你。
为什么呀？没流氓，上派出所去，上派出所去报案去。
没报案吗？
我报啊，说我的报案就是。
你别碰我。
我是11684是。
你别碰我。
你要这样子的，
Friends who have been to Beijing know that the subway there is very crowded during many time periods. It is hard to find even a place to stand, let alone a seat. This is truly a torment for the elderly. On this subway train, an elderly man wearing a blue-green short-sleeved shirt asked a girl to give up her seat. However, for some reason, the girl refused his request. The elderly man was displeased and pointed his finger at the girl's face, forcefully demanding that she give up her seat. The elderly man said, "Can you give your seat to the elderly?" No one likes being spoken to with a finger pointed in their face. The girl, seeing this, did not back down and pointed her finger back at him. Just as she was about to respond, the elderly man suddenly pushed her hand away and pressed his hand against her face. The girl angrily pushed the elderly man's hand away and said, "I can give my seat to someone else, but not to you." The elderly man then questioned, "Why?" But before the girl could answer, he did something even more outrageous. The elderly man directly inserted his cane between the girl's legs and started prodding. This behavior shocked the passengers present. Then, he grabbed the girl and said, "Let's go to the police station." The people around were frightened by his behavior and made room for him to sit down. Even after sitting down, the elderly man did not stop and continued to talk to the surrounding people, seemingly trying to justify his actions. It appeared he still believed he was in the right. In the video, you can see a person in uniform standing next to the elderly man, but this person did not effectively stop the elderly man's rude behavior. After the incident escalated, both parties were taken to the police station. The Beijing Public Transportation Police issued a notice about the incident, stating that the elderly man's surname is Yi, and he is 65 years old. The police administratively detained him for disturbing public order. This punishment was met with applause from netizens. Netizens expressed their opinions on the matter. One questioned why the subway security did not stop the elderly man's behavior. Another wanted to know if it is acceptable to fight back in such situations. Some pointed out that there are many similar elderly people in Beijing who often bully migrant workers. A Beijing netizen angrily commented that the elderly man's behavior disgraced the people of Beijing. Others suggested canceling the elderly man's pension, believing that taking advantage of one's age should not be allowed. This incident shows us that small matters can become significant because they affect every citizen. The local police's quick response and prompt punishment demonstrated their seriousness, bringing relief to the concerned public. This satisfying outcome reflects the importance of pursuing justice and fairness. If the elderly man had been a bit more polite in his language and restrained in his actions, netizens might have been more understanding. After all, we all have elderly family members and hope they receive care and assistance from others when they are out. In similar high-profile seat dispute incidents, the elderly person demanding a seat often appears very aggressive and unreasonable. In the video, the girl and the elderly man are in the same frame, but the elderly man seems more dominant. Regarding whether he really needed a seat, his physical condition didn't seem to match his forceful attitude. In fact, the energy he had to argue and push the girl suggests that he might not need a seat as badly as he claimed. This is likely why some young people are reluctant to give up their seats to energetic elderly people. Respecting and caring for the elderly is a traditional virtue, but it doesn't mean they can take advantage of their age. Giving up a seat is an act of kindness, not an obligation. No one should use virtue as an excuse to force others. The girl's response, "I can give my seat to someone else, but not to you," resonated with many netizens because the elderly man's rudeness did not deserve her kindness. His behavior did not merit a virtuous response from society. It's worth noting that the elderly man's carriage wasn't empty. There were other people, even men, seated opposite him. He could have asked any of them, but he targeted the girl. Why? As some netizens suggested, he might have thought she would be easier to intimidate. This may sound like a cynical view, but actions that seem random are often calculated. What's even more unacceptable is that after the girl refused to give up her seat, the elderly man resorted to verbal abuse, covered her mouth, and prodded her legs with his cane. Whether intentional or not, such extreme behavior over a seat is not just disrespectful, but also harassing. It's no wonder some netizens pointed out that he used the excuse of needing a seat to engage in harassment. Now, the elderly man has been legally detained, which is a heavy price to pay and a deserved lesson. This small seat dispute has escalated to a widely known and publicly condemned incident, warning other elderly people who think they can get away with bullying others for a seat. Being old doesn't mean you are always right, and being aggressive doesn't mean you will succeed. Seeking help should never involve violating others' rights, damaging their interests, or trampling on their dignity. Of course, we should not generalize and label all elderly people as bad based on this incident. We should still help and respect those who genuinely need it. This is the rational approach. Forcing others to give up their seats can only result in a memorable punishment. Self-serving actions can only bring about petty returns. The harmonious society we all desire can only be achieved through mutual understanding and consideration. This incident highlights that even small matters can draw significant attention. We should respect others, follow rules, and jointly maintain social harmony and tranquility. Incidents of conflict between elderly and young people on public transportation in China are not uncommon. For example, on June 16, a thought-provoking incident occurred on Line 1 of the Shenyang Metro in Liaoning Province. During the morning rush hour, a middle-aged woman requested a young man to give up his seat. This led to a heated argument between them. Unexpectedly, the man then made a startling move. His emotions suddenly collapsed, and he began hysterically expressing his grievances. He said he works hard every day, waking up early to squeeze into the subway for his livelihood. He emphasized his intense stress, feeling neglected in society and at work, and being bullied by everyone. The surrounding auxiliary police and staff patiently guided him without taking extreme measures to stop him. Perhaps understanding the hardships of young people's lives, the man was eventually escorted away by staff. Throughout the process, no one blamed either party. This incident sparked heated discussions among netizens. Many expressed that young people in China face tremendous life pressures, toiling for their livelihoods and feeling physically and mentally exhausted. They understood the man's emotional breakdown, believing he may have encountered many unpleasant things in work and life. At the same time, some netizens questioned the woman's behavior, believing that offering a seat is a matter of kindness rather than obligation. Elderly women, who receive pensions, could completely avoid commuting during peak hours for young people. If they must travel during this time, they should not overly demand others to give up their seats. After all, young people work all day and are physically and mentally tired, also needing understanding and respect. While this incident may seem like a simple seat dispute, it reflects the various pressures and difficulties facing young people in China today. Severe employment conditions and intense competition exacerbate their stress, requiring more understanding and support. There should also be reflection on the attitudes and behaviors towards the elderly in Chinese society. Respect and mutual understanding are key to building a harmonious society.